What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB. We gotta come up with a name for you guys. I'm thinking B Squad or Romans. I'm definitely gonna post that in the community tab. Give you, I'm gonna post my suggestions. Then I'm gonna ask you guys for your suggestions on what I should call you guys. Cause saying "What's up, YouTube?" that just don't sound right no more to me. But what up, you guys? Nonetheless, it's your boy JB. We are down here today with the review for Love After Lockup Season 3, Episode 44. And this was also the season finale. So next Friday, we will move into Life After Lockup, and we will have some of the couples from this show. I know Deontay and Nicole are going to be there. I know Stan and Lisa are there. I know for a fact that we have Brittany and Ray. Why? I don't know. And I believe that's it, right? Because everybody else is either broke up or either they broke up or back in jail. I'm not laughing at the in jail part. I'm laughing at when I said broke up, and I was about to say back in jail, but I was laughing. I'm not laughing about nobody being back in jail. I'm laughing about one particular person, and we're gonna talk about that person as we get through this review. We are definitely gonna talk about him. All right, you guys. So if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor. Stop taking me out on this date and do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons on the channel, you guys. Light them hoes up. But you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love After Lockup, shall we? All right, you guys, I think we're going to start up with the couples who are not together first, and then we'll get into the foolishness of the episode, right? So, let's talk about Courtney and Josh. Now, with Courtney and Josh in this episode, there was very little about Courtney and Josh. They did have scenes, but their scenes were just not enough for me to be like, oh, I need to just really focus heavily on Courtney and Josh. Absolutely not. Because with my notes with Courtney and Josh, I got two paragraphs. Actually, it's just one whole paragraph if we're being honest. So they show us, Josh is day 13. Now you guys remember with Josh was quarantined, which I still don't understand that, right? He's quarantining with her for 14 days before he goes and lives with his cousin. Well, I guess. But see, the thing with quarantine, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I guess he's on quarantine because even if he's on quarantine with her, let's say if they catch COVID, then he has to quarantine with her for another 2 weeks. So what was the purpose, right? That's what I didn't understand. The purpose of that quarantine with Courtney for 2 weeks. But let's say in that 2 week time frame, him and Courtney get COVID. You got to quarantine again for another 2 weeks. Then that's a violation of his parole. So that didn't make any sense to me, right? So it's day 13, right? So it's the day before he has to leave to go live with his cousin, which Courtney doesn't understand why he has to live with his cousin. I mean, because you two are felons. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm not being funny. I'm just saying maybe because you guys are felons. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because that is his wife. But damn. Okay. So Josh has set up this little scavenger hunt for her, right? He set up little sticky notes for her to look around the house. I would have got irritated. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I would have got irritated after the second one with the dog. I was like, oh, actually, no. I would have got irritated after the dress. He said, go take a shower. I'm like, okay, so take a shower. You could have stopped it right there. You could have said, take a shower, come outside. But she still has to go on more hunt. I'm like, okay, this is a never-ending scavenger hunt, basically, right? But basically, it did end, and it ended with a picnic with those two. Very cute picnic. I'm not going to judge the picnic because, Josh just got out of jail, so Josh ain't got the funds like that, right? So I'm not going to judge the picnic. It was actually, for what he had, it was cute, right? So then Josh, he apologizes to Courtney for the argument that they had, right? And then he told her that he replaced the ring that he flushed down the toilet. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Do I want to talk about do I want to do that now or do I want to wait to the end? No, we're going to wait to the end to talk about where everyone is at currently. So let's move forward. All right, guys, next up, let's discuss Rachel and Doug. You guys go back to my very first review. I said it about Doug. Doug gave me abusive vibes. Doug gave me abusive. Doug gave me controlling. I knew it from the moment you don't want to judge a book by its cover, but unfortunately, that was a rough cover. And I just could look at him and tell. It was just the way, actually, I'm not even I wasn't judging Kim personally by his looks, right? It was his conversations with Rachel over the phone, the way he talked to her. I'm like, Rachel, you don't see that, you don't hear it in this man's voice that this man is controlling. This man is probably abusive. You didn't hear it. Maybe she did. Maybe she just didn't want to see the warning signs. I don't know. So in this episode, we find out that Doug cheated on Rachel, and Rachel found out. She said he cheated on her the entire time. I'm like, that's not a shock. To be quite honest with you guys, it's not a shock at all to me, right? So Rachel threw that ring out. I'm like, girl, that was stupid. I don't know how much that ring cost, but that ring was worth some money. Girl, take that ring, pawn that hoe, keep your money. So she says that Doug said he was going out with his friend Gary, right? So then I guess he did go with his friend Gary, but at the same time he was with another woman, and one of his friend, I guess his friend's wife, DM'd her saying Doug came to the house with some bitch. I don't know who she is, and basically told her, you need to stop. You need to stop giving him money. You need to stop taking care of him. You need to stop taking care of his son. Now, the son part, I'm like, lady, that's a little bit too far, right? The kid ain't done nothing to Rachel. Don't blame the kid for the father's mistakes, right? I don't agree with that. Yeah, Doug might be a piece of shit, but little Dougie ain't did shit to Rachel. Little Dougie ain't done Rachel a damn thing. So Rachel told us the next day when she was talking to the producers, because actually when we saw that scene with Rachel was on her phone recording it. So the next day when the producers came, she said, yeah, he was cheating on me. I think she said, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, right? So I believe Rachel said that Doug was talking to this woman that he's cheating on her with before they started their interaction with one another, right? So then, she goes in the house, right? And she was telling us that they got into a whole argument the night before, right? And then she showed us her kitchen cabinet. The whole fucking cabinet was gone. I'm like, God damn, how like he knocked that motherfucker clean off. Like, damn. Like, I was expecting maybe a hole in the bitch, but damn, the whole fucking cabinet was off. I mean, the entire cabinet was gone. I was just like, what the fuck? And she said that he told her he punched the cabinet instead of hitting her in the face. I'm like, oh, so you did me a favor? Now, see, Rachel, you lost me when you said, he's paroled, he's tethered here, so I went to stay with my mom. Girl, the fuck no. You don't go stay with your mom. That is your house. You pay the rent there, or you pay rent, mortgage. You pay something there. You pay bills there. Doug don't pay a motherfucking thing there. So if anybody's going to leave, it is going to be who? Douglas. Douglas is going to leave. And I would, I don't advocate for this, but I would have called his parole office and be like, hey, me and him just got into a whole argument, and he punched my fucking cabinet, so he got to go. Like, I don't know where he's going. He can go to a hotel for tonight, but he's not staying here. I'm not staying in the house with this man. Absolutely not. So then she goes to the house and she notices that Doug has cleaned out his stuff as well as little Dougie's things. I'm like, oh, that poor little boy, to be with that maniac. So then the next day, Rachel's mom comes over, right? And Rachel is still in shock about what happened with Doug. I'm like, I don't know why. Like I said, the warning signs were literally there from the beginning with Doug. So I just don't know why she's so shocked, but she is shocked. But so I had a feeling from the jump that Doug, like I said, Doug was abusive. What else? I'm sorry. When I come to this park in my hometown, it's always something that catches my eyes, either good or bad. I know she's hiding that shirt though. Okay. Where were you at? And then this truck in front of me look like it got bullet holes in it. What am I talking about? Rachel. Yeah, her mom came over, right? Like, I had a feeling from the jump that Doug was using her, especially in that one episode when he was like, him and little Doug are not gonna fuck that up. I'm like, yes, you are. You're gonna find a way to fuck it up. Like, stop playing with me. So Rachel's mom asks, so where are they? She says he's in a camper in his sister's backyard. I'm like, is it that? I'm pretty positive it's that sister that the other sister was saying was not treating little Dougie right. Okay. So Doug, oh yeah, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause that, and we're gonna move forward. All right, guys, let's talk about one couple that I don't really particularly care for, and it's actually just the one person in the relationship, Brittany and Ray. We're going to talk about them before we get into the foolishness of this damn episode. Man, this is a good episode. So, Brittany and Ray, right? So, we see Brittany, and, remember in the last episode, she called her dad, and she told her dad that she wanted him to come over to meet Ray, right? So, at this point, Brittany is, like, really working my nerves. And it was in this episode, I was like, okay, it's a lot more than just that fucking wig on her head that's annoying me. It's her in general, right? So Brittany says that her dad is coming over, and maybe you should put on something different. Maybe some pants to cover up. Basically, she's telling him to put on some pants to cover up his ankle monitor. Like, are you fucking serious? And Ray, I don't know how Ray doesn't see that. That should be an indicator that she's embarrassed about you, all right? Because when her dad got over there with her sister, her dad had on about the same amount of clothes as, same outfit that Ray had on. A shirt with some shorts on. But you don't want them to see that ankle monitor. If you don't want people to see the ankle monitor, why did you get with a man that you knew was in prison and that you knew by the time he got out of prison, he was going to probably have to wear a fucking ankle monitor? Brittany and her wig is annoying the shit out of me, right? So, like I said, her dad and her sister pulled up. So Brittany asked her dad, Dad, I told you about Ray, and he's here, and I want you to meet him. And he was like, okay, I'll meet him. I love that the dad said, I want to meet him. And I also I respect Brittany's dad a lot, because he's like, I want to meet him. And he didn't go in there with any judgments of the man because he was in prison. He went in there wanting to get to know him, but he does have his reservations about Ray, and it's nothing personal. It's just because of what Brittany has been through, which understandable. He doesn't want his daughter to go down the same path that she was before. So I get that, and I like that he went in there with an open mind, right? So the sister and her dad go in there. They meet Ray. They talk to Ray, and I will say one thing about Ray. I get good vibes from Ray, right? I really do. It's just Brittany that I don't get the good vibes from, and that's interesting, right? I get the good vibes from the ex-convict, but the one that ain't a convict don't get good vibes from. I just don't like her. So he's telling them what his plans are, right? So Ray plans, he wants to have a family, right? And he tells them he wants, to get his life together. He wants to be able to get once he gets that ankle monitor off, he wants to go out and get a job. He doesn't want to be a bum and a leech. And I'm like, oh, okay, Ray. Go off, Ray. I fucks with Ray. So, Brittany says, well, Dad, I have something to tell you. You remember I told you that Ray, when he got out the halfway house, he was going to go stay with his family? Well, he's staying here. And her dad was like, I wish you had told me that then. When you first told us, you told me that then, so that way we could voice our opinions about it. And I'm like, that makes sense, right? But at the end of the day, Brittany is a grown adult woman, and Brittany is going to do what she wants to do, despite what you guys say, think, or feel, right? She's going to do what she wants to do. But at least hear your family out, listen to what your family's saying. Weigh the pros and the cons, right? Because this could have been a completely different situation. Like, this could have been different. So, like I said, it's just something about Brittany that I don't necessarily vibe with. So her sister has her guard up, right? Because one, she thinks Brittany is moving too fast, which I'll give her that, right? Yeah, this does seem like it's going too fast. And it's not even I'm not even gonna say it's going too fast because of Ray being an ex-con. I'm saying it's going too fast because you don't really know this man like that, right? I would never want to move someone into my house that I've owned, and this goes for the show, I watch it here and there, like the show 90 Day Fiance. I would never want to move someone to my house that I've had communications with via FaceTime, anything like that. It's cool to, talk to you and visit you, but to actually move in with you, or you move in with me, I couldn't do it. Like, we gotta, spend a lot more time together before I said, okay, let's live together. Like, it's gonna take a lot more than that. So, and then she's talking about Brittany's working 2 jobs. I'm like, little Miss Prissy is working 2 jobs. Something ain't adding up with her, right? So then we finally see that Ray got his ankle monitor taken off, right? So they got to eat, and she asked him, so what's first? He says, well, like I said to your parent, like your dad. Ray still is on the same thing. He wants to get a job, and I'm like, I respect that. He's not changing anything. He's not saying, oh, let's have a family, let's get married, that's what she wants. Literally, Brittany is giving me Chevelle 2.0 with a terrible wig, right? So he was like, with the marriage thing, like, how about 3 years from now? I'm like, okay, 3 years, I will say 3 years is a bit long, right? Maybe a year or 2. I'll say a year or 2, right? That's fine. You can save up for the wedding. You can save up for, because weddings cost money. And, everything's an expense when it comes to a wedding. So yeah, unless you're going to go to the courthouse and get married before the justice of the peace, yeah, I'm cool with a year or 2, right? But Brittany's expectations are literally just like Chevelle's expectations. But at least with Ray, we'll talk about that. At least we'll talk about that. We will talk about that. The one thing that threw me off was she said she's getting older. She doesn't want to be a 40-year-old mom. What the fuck did that mean? Did she mean that she doesn't want to be pregnant at 40? Because if you have a baby now, you're 33, allegedly. You're 33. So you're going to be a 40-year-old mom regardless. So I don't know if she meant she doesn't want to be pregnant at 40, but there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I just don't like Brittany. Let's move on. All right, you guys, now it's time for the foolishness. So I'm going to say Vanessa and Jeff and Deontay and Nicole for dead ass last. We're going to talk about Stan and Lisa. So Stan, you guys remember the last episode, Stan was getting ready to go buy the car for Lisa, right? So I guess he settled on a car for Lisa. Now he has to go and show them proof of income. I'm like, really? Now see, when I got my car, and this was the first car that I bought on my own, like, I had to prove proof of income before I even drove out the lot with the goddamn car. I had to show proof of income, proof of insurance. And even when me and my mom got my first car and my second car, we had to show it right then and there. We had to show our proof of income right then and there. I remember it. I actually remember, both when we got both cars. Both my first car, which was a Ford Focus, a 2006 Ford Focus. I loved that car. Oh my God, I miss my car. That was my car. And it was paid off too. But what happened is after my car got paid off, that bitch went to shit. Like, it stopped work. I think it was the what was it? It was something that, it literally stopped working. Then the second car, which was a Chrysler 200, that one was crap from the beginning, but it played out too. Hopefully you don't play out on me. But even if you play out on me, I'm going to get you fixed. Like, I don't care what happens, you're getting fixed. And I'm actually almost finished with her. In about a year or two, she'll be mine completely. I'm literally cutting down on them payments. Like, I am literally cutting these payments down. And then hopefully with YouTube, this being extra income, hopefully I'll be able to, put more money down, towards the payment. But they said don't pay towards the prince. Okay. But whatever. Now the thing for me with Stan is, right, I'm just looking at Stan's house. Stan's house does not give me that he's a millionaire. Like, I'm not even... the white appliances are one thing. The fact that his furniture, if you look at his furniture looks dated as hell. So I'm like, what does Stan spend his money on? Like, obviously it's not hair or Lisa's hair. Like, what does Stan spend his money on, right? And he's talking about, he makes close to $130,000 a year. He said in bonds and something else, right? I'm like, really? Okay, I guess so, right? So we see Lisa, she's texting with someone. We still don't know who that someone is. Yes, I about to say our Stan and Lisa gonna be in Life After Lockup, and I said it earlier in the video. They are. So I feel like in Life After Lockup, we'll finally find out who this mystery woman is, right? So his friend comes over, right, and they go driving. He tells him that he's gonna call for Lisa, and Stan refuses to listen to his friends. I don't know why, but he refuses to listen to his friends when your friend is trying to keep you hip to the game. Like, dude, she's running game on you, she's conning you, she's scamming you, but Stan doesn't see it. But I mean, since they met on Seeking Arrangements, I mean, I guess it's really not a scam, huh? Right? It's not really a scam if they met on Seeking Arrangements, because Seeking Arrangements is for sugar daddies and sugar mamas to find sugar babies. So it's not necessarily a scam, I guess. But she is lying to him nonetheless. I will say that she's lying to him, but scamming him, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, right? So he tells him that he paid her speeding tickets. I'm like, why would you do that? Okay. Next, you're going to have to pay her restitution, huh? So then we see Lisa. So Lisa is in one of Stan's rooms, and he has baseball memorabilia there. And she's Googling how much that memorabilia is. I'm like, ooh, Stan, you're stupid. If that is like legit baseball stuff, which I think it is, that shit is, he does have some money. He definitely has some money in that shit. Like, I know that for a fact. What else? So his friend now wants to meet Lisa. I'm like, oh, okay, go for it. So then Lisa gets a call from this woman talking about her mystery woman, saying that, she loves her and she misses her, and she's gonna rock with her for right now. It's gonna be a whole shit show in Life After Lockup. So here we go again with me talking about the house, because this is in my notes. It's just everything in that house. It says, I'm not rich. It says it. It just screams it. And then her brother is coming over, right? And they're cooking. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all are making frozen food? Now, nothing's wrong with frozen food, right? I'm not sitting here shitting on frozen food, because I make frozen pizza. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on frozen food. But goddamn, come on now. Even me, somebody that don't make a lot of money, my black ass is going to cook. Like, I'm gonna cook some food. I'm not gonna sit here and buy frozen food and cook it and present it to people as if, frozen food. Yeah, Stan, I don't know. I don't know, right? So Lisa's brother, his name is, what is his name? Rick. She told us that Rick told her how to make quality meth. When we saw Rick, I'm like, I ain't surprised. And then her godmother, I'm like, girl, are you smoking some of it too? Baby, that family, like, they have been through it. Rick, however, does not like Stan, right? Rick thinks that Stan is a piece of shit. And Stan is like, we're good, and I'm gonna take good care of her. Okay, Stan, if you say so, buddy. So, what's her name? Lisa and her godmother, whose name I don't remember, they're outside, right? And her godmother was like, when you said that he threw your shit outside, girl, when my shit would have hit the ground, my ass would have been right behind it. You right about that, because I would have been right behind it too. But damn, because like I said, I just don't believe Stan got the money that he. I'm not saying Stan is broke, but I'm not saying he's broke, but I ain't saying he got a lot. I don't think he has the money that he professes to have. You know what? He could have that money, right? And it could be in a trust that he might not be able to, not like a trust, like a what is Britney Spears in? A conservatorship, right? So he could be limited to how much money he can take out, right? So, and it actually it even could be a trust, but at 80, y'all just said Stan is 80, but he looks 80, but it says he's 65, right? So he could have a trust, right? Because I do know that there are some people. What show is that a person? The Real Housewives of Dallas. Deandra Simmons has a trust, and Deandra can't touch her trust. If you guys go back and watch Real Housewives of Dallas, Deandra cannot touch her trust. So it's a possibility. It is possible, very possible. Now Lisa, they keep talking about I keep looking at that. When they show the pictures of the inmates, which I always put them over. I put them somewhere in here. With this one, I might enlarge it so you guys can see. But Lisa, does Lisa look 39 to you guys? Lisa gives me a hard, if she is 39, she's a hard 39. So Lisa finally tells us that she met a woman that she talks to. Girl, we knew that from it. We could tell that. I really would Lisa. I want Lisa just to pull all them extensions out her motherfucking head, girl. They're horrible. And don't tell anybody that Stan paid for that, because that is not money well spent. Just saying. Let's move on, you guys. Wow, I went long with them. This is gonna be a long review, but it was a 2-hour episode, so it is what it is. Y'all will be okay. All right, you guys. Let's move over to. Damn, who should I move over to? Should we flip a coin? Let's talk about Deontay and Nicole, and then we'll finish up with Anissa and Jeff. So Nicole, she spent the night with Tia last night, and so she said that she and Tia didn't have sex because she was so drunk. I'm like, girl, I don't care who tell it, but whatever, go off, go off, go off. So I was like, okay, at this point, you spent the night with both Tia and Zach, but you won't give Deontay no play whatsoever because she ain't into him. So Nicole says she's going to go meet up with Deontay, and she asked Tia to drop her off. I'm like, girl, what? See, the game that Nicole is playing, it's a tricky game, right? Because you're lucky that Deontay is not another type of dude. Because if he was a different type of guy, this could go really bad really fast. So I'm glad that Deontay is not the kind of guy that, will blow off the handle and, potentially put his hands on Nicole, right? So I will say Nicole is very lucky about that situation, right? So Tia's gonna wait in the car while she goes and talk to him. I'm like, girl, what? Okay, sir, ma'am, like, whatever. So he shows up an hour later after Nicole got there, right? Now here's the thing that threw me for a loop, right? When Nicole was sitting outside waiting for him, the sun was up, right? Then, like I said, an hour later had passed, the sun was down. But then they zoomed out there to where Tia is, and if you looked in the background, the sun was up. So it was the editing. Where am I at? So he shows up, right? He tells Nicole, like, you lied to me and my mom. And he's talking to her about posting up both of her exes. He's like, I took my exes off my social media. She says, well, I didn't tell you to do that. He says, yes, you did. And honestly, I believe him. I do believe him, right? So he's talking about the fact that, Tia and her were posted up on social media last night, so she was with her, right? So he asked her if she had sex with her. He asked her if she had sex with either Tia or with Zach. She lied. She said she didn't. But girl, you told us you had sex with Zach. Okay. So then he says he needs clarity to move. She tells him that she needed clarity to be able to move on with him. That would make more sense if you had been honest, right? If you had been honest with Deontay and said, hey, Deontay, I'm still having communications with Tia, my ex-girlfriend, and Zach, my ex-boyfriend. But don't get into a whole relationship with this man. Be like, you know what? I like you. I want to get to know you. I want to see where things go. But at the same time, I still have feelings for two other people. And I just want to see where, see if it's something that's salvageable there or manageable. Like, but don't lie, right? So then, she tells him, she got mad at him, and she told him to get the fuck out of her face. And then while they're because they started arguing, while they're arguing, who walks up but Tia? Tia, sir, ma'am, you're very bold. And you talking about you want to talk. Sir, ma'am, what do you want to talk about? There's nothing for you to discuss. So at this point, I'm like, oh, Tia's in on this shit, right? Tia knows about Deontay. Tia knows about Zach. I'm like, ugh, so you know about this shit? So you're okay with this? This is not even a triangle. This is a square. This is a love square. Like, so you're okay with this square that you guys are in? Then she tells Nicole that, you need to make a choice. Now, I don't, I'm cool with letting her. I don't, there's nothing between me and her. We just friends. But y'all are friends that just kissed each other last night, and you can't tell me y'all did not have sex. The way that Nicole was going at her buttons and we could see her boxer briefs, girl, y'all fucked. Stop lying to me. You used the strap on her, sir or ma'am. And then, she's saying that they didn't kiss. Okay, sir or ma'am, I guess you didn't know that the camera crew was there, but okay. Go off, whatever. So then, now this scene, I cracked the fuck up laughing, right? So she knew about Deontay. She says, "You're very good looking. Now your pictures, you weren't that good looking." I'm like, well, damn, a backhanded ass compliment, right? But she gave him that, yeah. She gave him a backhanded ass compliment, and he gave her a backhanded one back. I'm like, come on, Deontay. He he told her, you're a handsome gentleman. He says, she's a handsome gentleman. I said, no, a handsome gentleman. I died laughing. It was hilarious. I died laughing. So, she asked him what his plans are. He says his plans are to marry Nicole and be a family with her. I said, I hope your plans are to leave Nicole eventually, right? So Nicole and Tia went to talk, right? So or this might be before that, right? So Deontay tells Nicole that Nicole actually, oh no, she told him she loves him and she wants to be with him. Girl, use a lie. Then she tells him she wants to be in an open relationship, and I'm like, oh, okay. Why wait now? So he tells her he doesn't want to share her and he doesn't want to be second. I'm like, well, if you're gonna be with this girl, my thing with Deontay is he's 33 years old. Nicole is 23. What did you expect from her? She's very young. I don't know what Deontay was expecting from her, but whatever. So then we see Deontay and his friend. What is his friend's name? Again, I forget. Derek, right? Child, why did they have this damn black coffin? I was like, what is this? And what's in this coffin? It was Nicole Jr. They set Nicole Jr. on fire. I'm like, oh my God. What did Nicole Jr. do? What did Nicole Jr. do? Why not just get rid of Nicole? The original Nicole? Like, because, I mean, what, never mind. I really don't care, right? But they burnt Nicole Jr. to a crisp. Rest in peace, Nicole Jr. Let's move on and wrap up. All right, you guys. So the end of the not the end of the episode, but the end of the review. Let's talk about here we're talking about again Jeff and Anissa. So Jeff and Anissa are really at this point they're not in a good space with each other. I remember in the last episode that Kyle told Anissa that Jeff had a kid, right? So we see Anissa in this episode, and she and Penny they go out and she leaves Jeff at home. So Jeff tries to get on the computer, and he's like, Anissa left her computer, and then he tried to put in the password. He's like, oh, she's changed her password. He says, Anissa's been acting different. Her attitude, her personality, and her sense of humor, they are all different as well. Anissa, when I was in prison, we used to talk on the phone all the time, and she used to laugh all the time. Well, Jeff, shit changes when you get out of jail, buddy. Shit changes. I mean, first of all, you were in jail, so you ain't had nothing but time. So okay. Then he's pushing her password on the computer, and he notices that she's changed the password. He says she's hiding something, and I'm going to find out what she's hiding. And I'm like, she's hiding something, Jeff. So are you, buddy. An 18-year-old son. Now, I don't know why Jeff was hiding that. That's not something that she should be mad about, right? That's not something that Anissa should be mad about. The only way Anissa would be mad, like I said, they've been together for 11 years, right? Now, if the child was 11 or younger, that would be an issue. But the child is 18. The boy is 18, so it's not like you cheated on her or anything. So I don't know why he didn't tell her, but whatever. So then Jeff goes into her room. He's like, I always come to this dresser to get a shirt, and she asked me like, why are you near the dresser? Why are you near the dresser? I'm gonna find what she's hiding. So he goes into the dresser and he says, boom, I found it. So he found a phone. So then we see Penny and Anissa, right? So Penny and Anissa are going to go shopping for the flowers for her wedding, which they're gonna have a wedding in 3 months when Jeff gets off of his ankle monitor. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to happen to Anissa, right? But okay, girl, go off, sister, go off, right? So then she has a budget. I think she said she can't spend over $100, and Penny was like, why? She says, because Jeff is spending all my money. She says, how much has he spent? She said $9,000. I was like, what? Did you say $9,000? Girl, why? Here's my thing. Credit cards, debit cards, they have a system, they have a thing that you can do. It's called lock your credit card or debit card. Bitch, I do it all the time. Like, if I do it all the time. I am notorious, like with my debit card, if I go somewhere and I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money, I will lock that hoe on myself. Like, I will literally lock my debit card so that way I don't spend. Because I know how I am. If I see shit I like, I'm like, ooh, I want that. Nope. After I spend a certain amount of money, I will, if I don't want to go over a certain dollar amount, bitch, I will lock it in a heartbeat. Lock it. Lock it. Lock it. Like when I was, actually, I didn't, you know, it's so funny. I should have locked them I really should have locked my credit card, my debit card when I was in Vegas, but I didn't. But I didn't spend, actually, I spent a lot of money in Vegas, come to think of it. But it wasn't that bad. You know, it really wasn't that bad. And it was mostly food I didn't go to a casino, so it was just really food and alcohol. But yeah, you know, if I go to if I go to a bar, I will lock my credit card. I will take something, like most times sometimes if I know that I'm going out, like to a club or a bar where I'm going to probably spend a lot of money, I go to the bank and I take money out of my checking account and I take that with me. Once that money is gone, my debit card is locked and I'm not opening that bitch up until I get home. Because I will continue to spend, right? So Penny tells her, cut it up. She says, but that's my debit card. Girl. She says, and she said, and he goes in my purse and get it. That's your fault that you leave your purse where that man is able to access it. That is your fault. So then she tells Penny about the kid, and Penny's like, well, why did he lie? And she's like, exactly. And she hasn't told him that she knows, right? So then we move back over to Jeff. So Jeff, you know, remember, I just told you that Jeff is on the phone, right? So Jeff started to go to the phone, right? So he looks at the contact list and he says, I don't know any of these guys. This is a Mark. This is a Bill. This is a Tom. Oh, there's Kyle. I know who Kyle is, but I don't know who any of these other guys are. So then he sees that Anissa has taken sexy pictures of herself, and she's in our bed. That's our bed that she's taking those pictures in. I'm like, well, technically it's her bed, but go off. So then he says, I think that Anissa and Kyle, I think they have a sexual relationship, right? I don't think it's over, but I don't think that it's like it probably was before. Let me know in the comment section. Do you guys believe that Anissa and Kyle had a sexual relationship? I can kind of see it. Right? Oh, nah. Oh, that would be interesting, right? If Kyle and Anissa had a sexual relationship and he got married and they live on the same. Oh my God, that would be a hot bed of mess. Oh, child, that fight or lack thereof fight. But Jeff was punching the fuck out of Kyle. I will say that. Jeff was punching the fuck out of Kyle. Kyle wasn't fighting back. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, so I wonder if Kyle's on parole or probation or something like that. Because he wasn't fighting back. And that's what I figured. I'm like, he's got to be on some kind of papers for him not to fight back, right? So Kyle, you was dead ass wrong for telling Anissa about that his son. That wasn't your place. And I'm going to give it to Jeff. Beat his ass for that. Beat his ass. So Anissa, like, if the neighbors call the cops, that Jeff is going to have to go back to the halfway house. Right. So let's see where we are. So Jeff, he went in the house. He talked to Anissa. He was telling her why he didn't tell her about the son. Didn't make any sense to me, right? But he did tell her he found a phone with the pictures in it, and she tells him that she thought it was over between them, and that's why she was doing it. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But girl, why go back to prison dating websites? You and Rachel don't make a lot of sense. You, Rachel, and Deontay don't make a lot of sense. If you had bad luck with one prisoner, why would you go look for another prisoner? Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but okay, if you say so. If you like it, I love it. But let's wrap up the episode. Let's actually finish the episode. I'm going to tell you guys where everyone is at currently. All right, you guys. So to give you an update on everyone, so let's start up with Doug and Rachel, right? So Doug and Rachel, they are currently still married, unfortunately. Doug went back to prison for violating his parole, and little Dougie is back once again staying with Rachel. I think that's good for little Dougie. And you can definitely tell that Rachel loves little Dougie. Brittany is still waiting for Ray to propose to her. You're going to be waiting for a while for that one. But good news is Ray has a job and hopes to meet her mom soon. Courtney and Josh. Courtney is still married, but she's living alone, and Josh violated his parole and was sent back to prison for 6 months. Stan still plans to propose to Lisa, and Lisa still has her secret lover. Jeff was sent back to the halfway house due to a parole infraction. Anissa is still waiting to get married. Don't know why. Deontay, he left Nicole Jr., but not actual Nicole. And Nicole is still dating Tia. The fuck? Okay. Yeah, stupidity. So yeah, like I said, in Life After Lockup, we're going to have Stan and Lisa, Deontay and Nicole, and Brittany and Ray. And I know we also have Brittany and Marcelino. I don't know why. I like Brittany and Marcelino. I will say that. We have Brittany and Marcelino. And we have, who else we got? Lacey, Shane, and John. We don't have our normal people for Life After Lockup. We don't have, I don't know. You guys can let me know. We don't have Forehead, do we? We don't have Forehead and Sarah. Because their storyline didn't wrap up last season. Because he's still with old ass Maria, Andrea, and Lamar. As much as Andrea gets on my nerves, I actually do. I love seeing their family. Andrea and Lamar, no Chevelle and Quaylin. Who else? Child, did we ever wrap up Angela and Tony? It's a lot of people from Life After Lockup that we don't have. But yeah. That's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video, and until the next one, you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands. Please, you guys, wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed, and I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys later for what's tonight? Love and Marriage Huntsville. And then tomorrow we'll be back for Power Book 3. Baddies ATL, the reunion part 2. Thank God that's it. And then Real Housewives of Potomac. All right. So bye, guys. Hope you have a good one.